When herbalists search for the medicinal uses of violet, our Materia Medica and most websites will direct us to only one species, Viola odorata, the sweet violet. That's the species native to Europe and Asia, used by Greek physicians, Roman nobles bathed in it, and medieval apothecaries stocked it above almost everything else. However, this species isn't native to North America. So, do we have other species which are native that can substitute for Viola odorata? In this video, we'll explore several key natives, their medicinal similarities and differences to the sweet violet. Now here's why Viola odorata needs a substitute. As I said, it's native to Europe and Asia and has naturalized in parts of North America, but it's not truly native. Its medicinal reputation rests on several key constituents: mucilaginous polysaccharides, which are soothing to mucous membranes, salicylates, which are mildly anti-inflammatory, rutin and other flavonoids, which are antioxidant and capillary strengthening, alkaloids, especially violin emetic in large doses, saponins, which have an expectorant action, and vitamin C and A precursors in the leaves. The flowers are also rich in anthocyanins. Traditional uses center on respiratory conditions like coughs and bronchitis, lymphatic support, topical wound healing, a mild laxative action, and headache relief. Now here's the good news. The genus Viola is remarkably chemically consistent, and most native species share the foundational chemistry in varying degrees. Here are the best native substitutes, starting with common blue violet, Viola sororia. Its range is eastern and central North America. It's extremely widespread. We do find it here in the Ozarks, and it's the most accessible substitute by far. Of all the native species, common blue violet is the most directly comparable to sweet violet in terms of traditional use, a consistent profile, and abundance. It's the species most frequently referenced in North American herbalism as a functional stand-in. Now here are the medicinal similarities to sweet violet. First of all, the mucilage. We find high mucilaginous content in the leaves, equivalent to Viola odorata, for soothing irritated mucous membranes in the throat, lungs, and gut. The leaf tea is used identically for dry, irritated coughs and mild constipation. Perhaps the most important shared use is as a lymphagogue to support the lymph system. Both species have a strong ethnobotanical and modern herbal tradition as lymphagogues, supporting movement of lymphatic fluid, particularly in the neck and axillary nodes. Matthew Wood and other clinical herbalists specifically name Viola sororia as the preferred North American lymphatic violet. The Viola sororia leaves are exceptionally rich in rutin, even more so than Viola odorata. This makes it useful for capillary fragility, bruising, and varicose veins. We can use it topically. Leaf poultices can be applied to inflamed skin, minor wounds, and hot swelling. And in that function, it's identical to sweet violet. As a nutritional medicine, the leaves and flowers are edible and extremely high in vitamin C, reportedly higher per gram than oranges when fresh, and beta-carotene. This was recognized by indigenous peoples and is shared with sweet violet. The leaf infusions are used as an expectorant and emulsant for bronchitis and dry coughs, directly mirroring Viola odorata's primary European indication. So how does sororia differ from odorata? First of all, there's no significant fragrance chemistry. Viola odorata's distinctive scent comes from ionone. Viola sororia lacks this aromatic profile, which matters for its use in perfumery and aromatherapy contexts, but is largely irrelevant medicinally. The alkaloid violin may be present in lower concentrations, making Viola sororia potentially milder as an emetic or purgative in large doses, and actually this is considered an advantage for safe use. And then sororia has cleistogamous flowers. Those are the hidden self-fertilizing flowers produced at ground level. That's a distinctive feature of Viola sororia that's not shared with Viola odorata. And those aren't medically significant, just botanically interesting. When it comes to indigenous use, there's extensive documentation among the Iroquois, the Ojibwe, the Cherokee, and others for headaches, for example, using leaf poultices on the forehead, for respiratory ailments, and as a food medicine. Next, we'll look at Viola adunca, the Hook-Spurred Violet, or Western Dog Violet. That's the best Western North American substitute. Its range is in Western North America from Alaska to California and eastward into the Great Plains and Great Lakes. It's the Western counterpart to Viola sororia. This is the go-to substitute for herbalists in the Pacific Northwest, Rocky Mountain region, and Great Basin, where Viola sororia is less common. In terms of medicinal similarities, it shares the core mucilaginous and demulcent properties of odorata, which is useful for the same respiratory and gastrointestinal indications. Rutin and flavonoid content are comparable to other blue-purple violets. There's documented use by numerous Western indigenous nations, including the Blackfoot and the Coast Salish peoples, for respiratory complaints, sore throats, and skin conditions, closely paralleling odorata application. Leaf poultice is used topically for sores, swellings, and headaches. The Blackfoot people used it specifically for venereal disease treatment, a use that aligns with the anti-inflammatory and possibly antimicrobial flavonoid content. As far as the differences go, it's been less studied phytochemically than Viola sororia, so the depth of scientific corroboration is thinner. It's generally a smaller plant with smaller leaves, meaning the yield per harvest is going to be lower, and that's a practical consideration for making medicine. The hook-spurred flowers are primarily blue-purple, so it shares the anthocyanin-rich profile of Viola odorata, but again, without fragrance. Then we come to the Canada violet, or the tall white violet, Viola canadensis, and it has a unique profile. It's a partial substitute. Its range is in northern and eastern North America, montane regions of the west. It's common in moist, shaded forest understories. And here's why it's different. Viola canadensis stands apart because of its white flowers with yellow centers and purple veining, which signals a somewhat different flavonoid and pigment profile than the blue-purple species. Here's how it's similar. It does share mucilaginous leaf chemistry, so it's useful as a demulcent tea for coughs and sore throats. The leaves are used topically in poultices for headaches and skin inflammation. There's documented use by the Iroquois, Ojibwe, and Cree peoples for fevers, headaches, and as a general strengthening medicine. The Ojibwe used root preparations for heart complaints, an area where Viola odorata also has some historical cardiac tonic mentions, likely due to rutin-mediated capillary support. Now here's how it's different and more on its unique properties. There's a lower anthocyanin content due to white flowers, so it's less relevant as an antioxidant source if using flowers. And the leaves are notably high in rutin, potentially comparable to blue-purple species, despite the different flower color. Some ethnobotanical sources suggest that Viola canadensis was used more specifically as a febrifuge, a fever reducer, than other species. Now this may reflect different or higher salicylate concentration, though this requires more research. One interesting use, the Iroquois used it as a love medicine in a ceremonial context and for vomiting induction, suggesting that the alkaloid violin may be more pronounced here. And there is a practical limitation. The leaves are thinner and less mucilaginous feeling than Viola sororia, suggesting lower polysaccharide yield for demulcent preparation. So it's considered a secondary rather than primary substitute for Viola odorata. And then there's Birdfoot Violet, Viola pedata. It's quite specialized, so use with caution. Its range is eastern and central North America, primarily in dry, sandy, or rocky, well-drained soils. It's much more habitat-specific than Viola sororia, and here's why it's notable but complicated. Viola pedata is one of the most visually striking native violets, but it occupies a special and somewhat cautionary role as a medicinal substitute. Now here are the similarities. It does share broad flavonoid and mucilaginous profile of the other violas in the genus. We find traditional use by the Cherokee for respiratory conditions, venereal disease, and headaches, overlapping with Viola odorata indications, and leaf poultices are documented for swelling and inflammation. The Catawba people used it for whooping cough, a strong respiratory demulcent and expectorant use that directly mirrors one of Viola odorata's primary European applications. And now on to important differences. It has a higher alkaloid concentration. Some ethnobotanical literature suggests that Viola pedata is more pharmacologically active and potentially more toxic in excess than other native violets. Now this isn't fully characterized, but traditional use often involved smaller doses. Viola pedata lacks cleistogamous flowers and is more specialized in its pollination. It produces only the showy flowers, making it somewhat less productive as a medicine source, and there are conservation concerns. This species is declining across much of its range due to habitat loss. It requires disturbance-dependent open sandy soils. It should not be wildcrafted heavily and is a poor choice for medicine making at any scale unless cultivated. Some sources note that the root is more medicinally active, but also more likely to cause nausea, reinforcing the caution around this species. The distinctive palmate birdfoot leaf shape makes it really easy to identify, and that's an advantage for foragers. So the verdict here is Viola pedata is a real and documented medicinal violet, but its conservation status and potentially stronger alkaloid profile make it the least recommended of these four for practical substitution. And then there are some additional species that are worth mentioning, like the Downy yellow violet, Viola pubescens. That's the most common native yellow violet in eastern North America. Traditional use largely mirrors the blue-purple species as a demulcent, a respiratory herb, and for topical use, and the leaves are used identically. The yellow pigment means lower anthocyanin, but still useful rutin content, a good Viola canadensis type substitute in terms of profile. In the Pacific Northwest, there's the stream violet called Viola glabella. It was used by indigenous peoples of the Pacific Northwest similarly to Viola adunca. It's less well documented, but shares the core genus chemistry. And in the Great Plains and the Rocky Mountain area, there's Nuttall's violet, Viola nuttalii, one of the most important violet medicines for Great Plains indigenous peoples. Yellow flowers, with documented use for earache, and there they use the leaf juice for respiratory complaints and rheumatism. It has a broader anti-inflammatory use profile that may reflect higher salicylate content. So the key takeaways are the whole genus shares a medicinal foundation in mucilage, rutin, salicylates, and mild alkaloids. What Viola odorata has that natives mostly lack is the ionone fragrance chemistry, which is purely cosmetic and aromatic, not medicinal. For most North American herbalists, Viola sororia is the direct drop-in replacement. It's abundant, well documented, has a nearly identical use profile, and is arguably richer in rutin. Ethical harvesting matters. Viola pedata's declining status means we should steer clear of it unless we're cultivating it, and we should look towards abundant species like Viola sororia. The lymphatic violet reputation is strongest in Viola sororia among the native species, and perhaps the most clinically interesting modern use, supported by both ethnobotanical records and clinical herbalist experience.